"You lied under oath, Reed," the clerk shouted, waving hidden documents. Gasps filled the courtroom. The judge went pale. But what happened next will shock even those who thought they'd seen everything. But first, let's go back to the beginning. At first glance, the courtroom seemed orderly, almost scripted. Judge Thomas Reed, a respected white man in his late 50s with salt and pepper hair and a stern presence, presided over a civil case between a wealthy businesswoman named Cynthia Darrow, white, mid-40s, impeccably dressed, and a young black entrepreneur named Marcus Holloway, black 28, clean-cut, wearing a simple navy suit. Cynthia had sued Marcus for breach of contract, alleging he mishandled funds during a joint property venture. The air in the courtroom was dense with expectation, though not a soul could have predicted just how swiftly decorum would be replaced by disbelief. Marcus sat upright, but his eyes betrayed a quiet desperation. His right hand trembled slightly as he clutched a legal pad that had remained mostly blank. The accusation against him was not only a threat to his career, it was a stain on his integrity, the kind that sticks no matter how loudly you protest. From the moment the trial began, it was clear the atmosphere tilted in Cynthia's favor. She exuded power. Every movement, crossing her legs, adjusting her pearl necklace, radiated comfort in the court's embrace. She had been here before, in one way or another. This was her arena. Judge Reed addressed the courtroom with clipped efficiency, but something in his tone veered from impartiality. He denied Marcus's attorney, Jennifer Price, the opportunity to submit new financial records for review, calling them untimely. When she raised an objection over a key witness being mysteriously unavailable, he dismissed her without even a glance. It wasn't just the rulings, it was the rhythm of it all. The way Reed leaned forward attentively when Cynthia's team spoke, nodding with quiet affirmation, and how he reclined with disinterest whenever Marcus's defense rose to speak. Marcus's voice cracked when he finally took the stand. He recounted emails he never sent, signatures he didn't recognize, missing wire confirmations. His words were rushed, like someone trying to escape a fire no one else could see. Still, it didn't matter. Judge Reed interrupted twice to move things along, then abruptly called for a verdict. In a tone devoid of ceremony, Reed ordered Marcus to pay $1.8 million in damages. No deliberation, no closing arguments, just judgment. A collective intake of breath rippled through the courtroom. Even Cynthia blinked, caught off guard by the sheer speed of her victory. In the back row, a soft sob broke the silence. Marcus's mother, her hand trembling over her mouth. Her son had just been crushed in plain sight, and it had all happened so quickly that no one could even cry out before it was done. That night, Jennifer Price couldn't shake the itch behind her ribs, the kind that never meant indigestion, only injustice. She'd seen bad rulings before, watched judges lose patience or lean into bias. But today had been different. It hadn't just felt rigged, it had moved with precision, too fast, too smooth, like it had been decided before either side even entered the courtroom. She sat in her home office, dim light casting long shadows across files and coffee rings. Her law degree hung on the wall behind her, but she wasn't looking at it. Her laptop glowed in front of her, tabs multiplying like ants at a picnic. She scoured Cynthia Darrow's legal firm, scanning event listings, board memberships, firm affiliations, donation logs. There had to be something. The more she searched, the more she felt that this wasn't negligence, it was design. A name popped up in an archived event announcement. The Darrow Law Winter Fundraiser, hosted by managing partner Cynthia Darrow, featuring special guest Judge Thomas Reed. Jennifer froze. That wasn't just a conflict, it was a rot hiding in plain sight. She snapped a photo of the screen and dialed Laura Fields, a paralegal she'd known since law school. If there was dirt to be found in this courthouse's underbelly, Laura had either buried it or stepped around it. "Yeah," Laura said after a pause, her voice low.
I've seen them together. Tennis, social events, even a weekend retreat at Lake Arrowhead. Reed's wife and Cynthia are close. Jennifer didn't respond at first. She was already typing Reed Darrow Property Investments into a search bar. Within minutes, a second breadcrumb appeared. A tiny entry buried in a corporate filing. Judge Thomas Reed listed as a minority stakeholder in Darrow West Development, a real estate firm chaired by Lawrence Darrow, Cynthia's father. That was the fracture line, and now she had the chisel. She worked through the night, compiling screenshots, printouts, court records, ethics codes. By dawn, she had over 60 pages bound and labeled. Motion to vacate, judicial conflict of interest. She dressed in silence and drove to the courthouse before the parking lights dimmed. The court clerk on duty, a man Jennifer had seen for over a decade, read the cover page, looked up at her, and muttered, "You sure you want to walk into this?" Jennifer didn't flinch. "Stamp it." He did, reluctantly. The seal hit the paper with a finality that echoed more than sound. As she walked out, he added under his breath, "This won't go down easy." Jennifer didn't look back. She didn't need to. She just lit the fuse. The courtroom was packed to suffocation. Every seat taken, every wall lined with onlookers, attorneys, activists, junior clerks hungry for scandal, and local citizens who rarely had cause to step inside the courthouse but sensed something seismic about to break. Outside, reporters swarmed the marble steps, microphones clashing like drawn swords. Inside, the tension had calcified into silence. Judge Thomas Reed entered through the side door with the practiced air of authority, robe flowing, jaw clenched, but the pulse twitching beneath the skin of his temple betrayed him. He nodded once toward the bench, then sat, rigid, too upright, a man steeling himself not against justice, but exposure. Jennifer Price stood already, unshaken. The courtroom lighting struck her sharp cheekbones, but her eyes held no drama, only the cold, unflinching calm of someone about to cut through a lie like wire through soft wood. Marcus Holloway stood beside her, visibly tense but no longer broken. In her hands, Jennifer held a thick folder stamped in heavy black ink. Conflict of interest. "Your Honor," she began, her voice carrying not from volume but precision. "This court cannot maintain even the illusion of impartiality when the presiding judge holds undisclosed financial and personal ties to the plaintiff." Judge Reed opened his mouth. Too slow. Jennifer kept going. Golf outings, private fundraisers, board seats, a stake in Darrow West Development, chaired by the plaintiff's father, all unreported in your financial disclosures, all direct violations of judicial ethics. Gasps scattered across the room like glass cracking. Cynthia Darrow, sitting at her counsel's table in a white silk blouse and stone-set earrings, stiffened. Her face drained of color, and her eyes darted to Judge Reed's, seeking cue or cover. He gave neither. He was staring at the monitor across from him, where Jennifer had just cued a digital slideshow. Each photo struck like a verdict. Reed and Cynthia at a resort in Aspen, raising champagne glasses at a gala, seated side by side in a boardroom. One image showed Reed signing a document beneath a Darrow West Development logo. "Coincidence," Reed snapped, voice tightening like a noose. "This is a malicious attack on my—" "Spare us," someone muttered audibly. Then, crack. From the gallery, a voice rang out, unsteady but loud. "You lied under oath, Reed." All heads turned. It was Evan McCauley, a former judicial clerk standing with trembling hands, and a manila envelope bulging with paper. "I kept copies, everything. Emails, memos. You knew she was a party of interest, and you buried it." Pandemonium followed. Reporters scrambled out the door. Spectators murmured, then shouted.
The bailiff took a step toward the bench, unsure whether to protect the judge or restrain him. The stenographer's fingers faltered over the keys. For the first time in years, Judge Thomas Reed had nothing to say. Judge Reed's fall was swift and surgical. Within 24 hours, the State Commission on Judicial Conduct issued a formal suspension, citing a pattern of ethical violations with clear financial entanglements. What began as a single breach unraveled into a tapestry of misconduct. Archived case files were re-examined. Names of plaintiffs tied to real estate development firms, particularly those linked to Darrow West Development, emerged with eerie regularity. Behind closed doors, whispers turned into affidavits. Investigators uncovered that Reed had quietly funneled investments into companies whose legal outcomes he then ruled on, tipping the scales in plain daylight, hidden only by the authority of his robe. Cynthia Darrow, once untouchable, now faced scrutiny of her own. Emails, retrieved from subpoenaed servers, suggested coordinated efforts to ensure favorable resolution in multiple cases. Her name appeared in calendar invites and private dinner reservations that aligned suspiciously with major legal milestones. The narrative of a respectable businesswoman began to decay, replaced by the image of a power broker pulling strings behind the curtain. Meanwhile, the judgment against Marcus Holloway was formally vacated. No apology issued, no reparations offered, just the cold reversal of a ruling that had nearly destroyed his life. Still, when he stepped out into the sun, blinking as the courthouse doors shut behind him, he didn't look angry. He looked exhausted. Reporters swarmed him, their microphones like bayonets, slicing through the quiet. "I just wanted fairness," he said, voice soft but resolute. "That's all I ever asked for." Beside him, Jennifer Price didn't speak right away. She rested a hand on his shoulder, steady, present. Her eyes scanned the crowd not with pride but with warning. Justice had come, but too late and at too great a cost. "Now you've got it," she said, "and more." The press dubbed it the courtroom scandal of the year. Headlines screamed across every major network. Cable news ran split screens of Reed's rulings and investment portfolios. Civil rights organizations seized the moment, calling for independent oversight panels and mandatory financial disclosures for all state judges. Protesters gathered outside courthouses in 3 counties, holding signs that read, "How many more?" Reed's name became shorthand for systemic rot, a symbol of the quiet ways justice could be bought and bent. As for Marcus, he didn't disappear. He launched Second Ledger, a nonprofit that offered legal literacy workshops and pro bono counsel to young Black professionals entering the world of contracts, finance, and entrepreneurship. His voice, once trembled in court, now carried in conference halls and college auditoriums. The court system hadn't just been embarrassed, it had been pierced. And all it took was one man who refused to be silent and one lawyer who refused to look away.